In the last video, I have given an example to understand two-phase locking protocol. Now, in this video, I'll explain two-phase locking protocol in terms of transactions. Let us assume that we have two concurrent transactions T1 and T2. All of you just relate this example with the previous example. Transaction T1 is deposit 1000 into X account and 1000 into Y account. And transaction T2 is calculate the sum of X balance and Y balance after deposits. Let us assume that balance amount in X account is 20,000 and balance amount in Y account is 40,000. Let us assume that first transaction T1 request for a lock on balance amount of X. Till now there is no lock on balance amount of X. So transaction T1 acquires lock on balance amount of X and it adds 1000 to the balance amount of X. Then it will release the lock. Now transaction T2 can request for the lock on balance amount of X. At this point, there is no lock on balance amount of X. Now, transaction T2 can acquire lock on balance amount of X and can read the balance amount of X as 21,000. Here, if you observe, transaction T2 read the balance amount of X after T1 is updating the value. Now, T2 will release the lock on balance amount of Y and it will try to acquire lock on balance amount of Y. As there is no lock on balance amount of Y, it can acquire the lock and it can count the balance amount of Y as 40,000. Here, if we observe, transaction T2 have read the balance amount of Y before transaction T1 is updating the value, and transaction T2 will give the sum of X balance plus Y balance as 61,000, which is wrong answer because transaction T2 read the X balance after update and Y balance before update. So this is called inconsistent result. Now transaction T2 will release the lock on balance amount of Y. Now transaction T1 request for the lock on balance amount of Y. As there is no lock on balance amount of Y, it can take the lock and it will add 1000 to the balance amount of Y and then it will release the lock. Here, if you observe, transaction T1 has completed without any errors, but transaction T2 has given wrong result. To remove these errors, we will follow the following procedure. First, transaction T1 request for a lock on balance amount of X. Till now there is no lock on balance amount of X. So transaction T1 acquires a lock on balance amount of X. Meanwhile, if T2 requests for a lock on balance amount of X, then it has to wait until T1 releases the lock. Now, after holding the lock on balance amount of X, it adds 1000 to the balance amount of X. Now, without releasing the lock on balance amount of X, it tries to acquire a lock on balance amount of Y. As there is no lock on balance amount of Y, it can acquire the lock on balance amount of Y. Now, transaction T1 will release lock on balance amount of X. Now, transaction T2 acquire a lock on balance amount of X and it will read balance as 21,000. Now, transaction T2 will request for a lock on balance amount of Y, but there is a lock on Y, so it has to wait. Now, transaction T1 adds 1000 to the balance of Y and it release lock on Y. Now, transaction T2 will acquire lock on balance of Y and it will read Y value as 41,000. That is, here if you observe, transaction T2 reads the balance amount of Y after T1 has done modifications, and it will give sum of X balance plus Y balance as 62,000, which is the correct result. Now transaction T2 release lock on balance amount of X and balance amount of Y. Now from this example, we observed that transaction should not release the locks until it acquires all the required locks. Once it has got all the required locks, then it can start releasing the locks if it finishes work with a particular data item. Now we will see two-phase locking protocol definition. Two-phase locking protocol says that transactions should acquire all the required locks before releasing any of the locks. This phase is called growing phase. Once it has got all the locks, then this point is called locked point. After locked point, if it wants, it can release the lock on data item. This phase is called shrinking phase. This is the actual schedule of above example. Let us assume that balance amount of X is 20,000 and balance amount of Y is 40,000. If we observe the schedule at the time T1, T1 acquired lock on balance amount of X. At time 2, it reads balance as 20,000. At time 3, it adds 1,000 to the balance. Now the new balance becomes 21,000. Then it unlocks balance of X. Now at time 5, T2 acquires shared lock on balance amount of X. It reads balance as 21,000. That is, here T2 reads A balance after updating, and at time 7 it acquires a shared lock on Y. At time 8 it reads balance of Y as 40,000. That is, T2 read balance of Y before updation, and at time 9 it displays sum of X plus Y as 61,000, which is the wrong result. At time 10 it will release lock on X. At time 11 it will release lock on Y. At time 12 T1 acquires a lock on balance of Y. At time 13 it reads balance of Y as 40,000. At time 14 it adds 1,000 to Y balance. At time 15 it unlocks balance of Y. This schedule is inconsistent schedule because here T2 read balance of X after update and balance of Y before update. This inconsistency is eliminated in the below schedule. Here in this schedule, at time 1, transaction 1 acquires a lock on X. At time 2, it reads balance of X as 20,000. At time 3, it adds 1,000 to the balance of X. Now at time 4, transaction T2 tries to acquire a lock on X, but already there is a lock on X. So T2 has to wait. Now without releasing the lock on balance amount of X, now at time 7, T1 acquires a lock on balance of Y. At time 8, it reads balance of Y as 40,000. At time 9, it adds 1,000 to Y balance. At time 10, it releases lock on X. At time 11, it releases lock on Y. At time 11, transaction T2 acquires a lock on X. At time 12, it reads balance of X as 21,000. At time 13, it acquires lock on balance amount of Y. At time 15, it displays sum of balance amount of X plus balance amount of Y as 62,000, which is correct value. Then it unlocks balance amount of X and balance amount of Y. The main point in two-phase locking is any transaction should not release the locks until it acquires all the required locks. The reason is, if it does not acquire all the required locks, then any concurrent transaction can take the lock which is required by the transaction and can read wrong values. So if it does not release any of the locks until we reach the locked point, then all the concurrent transactions will read correct results or will read